Ladies and gentlemen, to those among you who are easily frightened, we suggest you turn away now. To those of you who think they can take it, we say, welcome to the Madhouse.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Madhouse, the podcast hosted by me, Joey Gathercole, and my man, Jimi Faulkner. We are discussing a different horror film every episode, taking it in turns between us to choose the next film to be dissected, rated, and discussed by us two horror enthusiasts. So, welcome to our Madhouse and the extensive library of film it contains. Today's pick was Jimi's, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, how you doing, Jimi?
Yeah, not bad. I'm enjoying a cold cider.
So am I.
In the Headstone Horrors HQ, getting ready to talk about this film. Yeah, how are you doing? I'm
alright, thank you. I am excited, nervous, and also unsure of what the hell I'm going to do, but we'll be fine.
We'll see how it goes.
So, today's pick was your pick.
Yeah.
You want to tell me what it was? Well, I know what it was. Do you want to tell everyone else what it was?
I'll tell everyone else what it was, yeah. So, we watched Apostle. It's a British folk horror, and it's on Netflix. It was directed by Gareth Evans.
It's pretty new, this film.
Very new, 2018, I think it was.
It was. About Halloween last year.
Yeah.
And what did you think?
Well, yeah, I thought it was a good film. It was all right.
I know we're not going to go too much detail of whether it was good or bad right now, but my general feeling, I thought it was quite good.
Yes, it was all right. It was a bit long, but... It's 2 hours, coming in at 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yeah. I think that's probably a bit long. You just want to stick at the hour and a half. I think.
I kind of, well, you chose it. You messaged me. We flipped a coin, so you got to choose the first one.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and then I spent about an hour rocking back and forth. How do we do a podcast? It's 2 hours, 10 minutes, and this thing is like knee deep in foreshadowing.
We have not picked the easiest film to talk about for the very first episode, so that's on me.
Okay, but you didn't know. You picked this on a recommendation.
Yeah.
So, and neither of us had seen it. But let's take a second and actually explain what we're going to do here with choices, because you chose this first episode on a flip of a coin, but I automatically get to choose the next episode. And then you choose the one after that. Take it in turns. I think that's fair.
Yep, that sounds good.
Maybe not tell each other until we're recording an episode.
Yes, that's a good idea. The episodes aren't going to be linked. So you can pick out an episode that you want to listen to of your favourite film and hear us talking about it.
Yeah, you don't have to listen in order. You can see a film you like, listen to that and come back later. Also, we're going to be telling you at the end of episode what film is going to be in the next episode anyway. So you've got time to go and watch stuff in between. It's like a movie club.
Yeah, so you can watch it and then you can let us know what you think about that film as well.
Yeah, and there'll be an email address at the end for you to send your views to if you want to.
Right, should we get down to it then?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we need to say about the show, apart from it's about horror movies. I think that's been made obvious. Right, so the film.
Yes,
we're going to be rating it at the end.
Yeah.
A 5-star system, kind of, to figure out how good a film is.
Yeah.
To what we think a horror film should have, but we'll do that later. And now,
so I'm going to give you the overview of it. I think let's give you a quick rundown of what happened in Apostle. It's 1905. It's Welsh, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's about a cult on an island, isn't it?
It is
basically.
Yeah, that was this episode of. Yeah. Man called Thomas comes home. He's obviously got some issues, which we will discover later on in the film.
Yes.
Comes from him going off to Peking
during the Boxer Rebellion, I believe it was.
Yep. And some not nice stuff happens to him there, so he's a bit messed up. He comes home, and there is a letter for his dad, but his dad is senile and can't really help.
Yes.
So he has to basically go and save his sister, who has been kidnapped and taken to an island for ransom.
Ransom by a mysterious cult.
Yes, and the story follows him.
Yep. This mysterious cult headed, I'd like to add, by Michael Sheen.
Yeah, and I'm going to say Martin Sheen too many times in this podcast. And you're going to have to slap me around the face.
I thought actors weren't allowed to have the same names. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably something Charlie Sheen came up with because of Michael and Martin.
Is that not a thing, though?
I don't know.
I
Can you
thought it
trademark
was.
a name?
I don't know. I thought, because I just thought that you couldn't have the same name as famous people.
Oh, I'm going to trademark Joe Gallagher now because we're on the air.
Let's do it.
So they get to... He goes to this island. The quick overview, I guess. Goes to this island. He's not entirely sure what's going on. And there's a bit on the way to the island...
Yes.
Which, I watched this film twice, so it's something I noticed the second time round, because there's a lot of things in this film. You can watch this film a few times and notice different things a lot. His ticket is marked with a red mark when he gets on the boat.
Yes.
And it's obviously been marked by the people from the cult that have taken his sister to identify him when he gets on the ship, and he notices just before he gets on the ship.
Which was lucky.
Yep. And he switches it with a
Poor
quite unlucky man.
Very unlucky man.
But yeah, he notices that, he gets on the ship and gets off going to the island.
Yeah, so it's quite good when they get off the boat and they start walking up the hill. Did you notice that they had the crucifixes at the top?
Yes.
But then when he gets over the lump of the hill, turns out that they're just boats.
Yeah, he looked...
It's quite a nice little effect.
Yes, yeah, I think it was showing he kind of looked like Jesus.
Yes.
And in the end, obviously, there is we're doing these shows, by the way, on the assumption that you have seen the films.
Absolutely, because
there
will
are
be
spoilers all over the place.
They are going to be.
And we don't want to go through every plot point all the way, because it'll take forever.
No.
It would be like a 4-hour podcast. So at the end, he's kind of sacrificing himself and becomes part of the island. And I think that is foreshadowing.
You've jumped right to the end there.
Oh, it's foreshadowing there.
Right, okay. There's a lot to cover in the middle, but
they've already seen it, Jimmy. The assumption is they've already seen it.
True.
I'm not. There's spoilers all over the place. If you've come here to listen to a podcast about a film,
yes,
I think you're ready for spoilers.
Yes, that's true.
Or you don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is foreshadowing throughout this film.
I like your use of the word foreshadowing.
You've what?
I like your use.
Oh, you
of
like
the word,
my use of the word foreshadowing?
Foreshadowing.
Yes. Well, I googled it. I got to use it now.
Yeah, might as well.
So I was intrigued when they're lining up to become part of this community on an island headed by Malcolm, who calls himself the Prophet.
Prophet Malcolm, yes, Prophet Malcolm.
And they're given a jar and a sponge.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Which is strange.
The sponge is not that strange, but the jar is.
Yeah, I guess. That wasn't around 1905. Was a sponge something you usually got given when you moved house?
Well, you're going to have a wash, aren't you? But I don't know what the jar's for. I've got a lot of mason jars. They're probably not keeping their couscous.
Are they full of blood?
No, they're not. They're full of lentils and couscous.
Wow.
That's how I roll.
Nice. Well, we later find out in the film that the jar is not for lentils.
No.
Or couscous. As helpful as that would have been. He obviously, the main man, Thomas, sneaks out to basically do a bit of a recce.
He does
see what's up.
Recce, see what's going on here.
And that is pretty tense.
I'm on an island. I'm stuck here. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to find my sister. She's been kidnapped.
Just have a walk around the village.
Just gonna have a walk around the village a bit. But should we get to why they give them jars?
Yes, we should. I also need to mention Fionn and Jeremy in a minute because he bumps into them when he's out. In fact, I think he bumps into them before he sees the jars.
Yes.
So Fionn and Jeremy are lovers, and they're basically doing it on a boat.
Oh, actually, yes, they are doing it on a boat.
Yeah, and not a boat that's out at sea, about a boat that's on the shore. That's not relevant to the story. I didn't want you to get the wrong idea. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that Jeremy and Fionn are trying to sneak back into the village and bump into Thomas while he's doing a recce.
Yeah, he's having a look about.
He knows what's going on with those two as well. It's a secret, and yeah.
Did you recognise the guy who played Jeremy?
No, I didn't.
No, Bill Milner, his name is.
And I've seen him in...
X-Men First Class. He was the young Magneto.
I have not seen
that?
X-Men First Class.
What are you doing with your life?
I've seen the first 4, I think, of X-Men, the trilogy.
Wow.
X-Men. And then whatever happened after... Oh, a Wolverine film that was really good. And I've not avoided them.
No?
No, just not happened for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Did you recognise Thomas?
Thomas, only because I googled it.
I spent the whole film going, who the f*** is that man? And
Did your wife? Does your wife make you watch this particular program?
My wife knew who he was. He's from Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey, yeah.
And I saw a bit of Downton Abbey, and I saw a bit of him, and I remembered, yes, the reason I don't remember him is because he's not a poncy twat.
Yeah, fair enough. He's also in a Frankenstein miniseries.
Is he?
The Dracula 2006 film.
Wow.
Yep, you wouldn't know, would you? Well, I mean, yeah.
No, because no one's told me.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we digressed a little bit there.
A little bit.
He, although it's good information, it's all good information. He basically he looks through a window of someone's house, as you do when you're doing a recce of an island you've come to
when
save
you're having
your
a
sister
look
from an
about,
occult.
yeah, you have a little look through a window, see what's going on.
You want to say what he sees?
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, you asked me a question.
I did. I said,
Sorry,
do you
I
want to
was
say what he
miles
sees?
away. What does he see? Oh, okay, yes. So is this when he looks through the window and he sees it's bloodletting, isn't it? That's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. So,
Draining blood
Draining blood
into the jar.
But we don't see the sponge.
I don't know what they're doing with the sponge. They probably use it for the dishes, and they're like, we were meant to use that for something else.
Yeah. So that was a big thing, bloodletting. Barbers used to do it. They were called barber surgeons in the 19th century.
That was medical.
Yeah, it was medical.
They weren't doing it to sacrifice it.
No, but you could go and get your short back and sides and
Bit of a bloodlet.
bloodlet. There. That's where the
10 minutes spare. It's just I could squeeze a pint out.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, and that's where the them red and white striped poles they have outside the barber shop.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Really?
The red is the blood, the white's the bandage.
Where's a sponge?
Still don't know about this
No
sponge.
sponge on those
Still
barbershop
don't-
things.
Still don't know about this sponge. That's also that is why they call surgeons Mister instead of Doctor, because they were barber surgeons before.
Oh, okay.
So a doctor is a doctor. That's
Yeah.
why they don't call surgeons doctors, basically, because they were barber surgeons
Oh,
before. So they were Misters, and that's still why they're called Mister.
Wow, full of information.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm trying to reel it off, but after a couple of ciders, it gets a bit lost.
That's all right. We're all going to be lost by the end of this 2.5 hour episode. It's so yeah, there's bloodletting going on, done by unqualified barbers in this village,
Yes.
and obviously Thomas is a bit freaked out.
Freaked out, yes, of course he is, yeah.
I would be.
Well, yeah.
So after his recce, he sees his bloodletting, goes home. Is that when he notices that other people have jars of blood outside their door?
They've all got the jars outside their door, innit?
And he's like, I don't want to do that. So what he does is he nicks a bit of blood from someone else's jar.
Classic move.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing.
That's what I'd do.
And then uses his key to get in, cuts himself, blood falls on the floor. He goes into his room, and then this freaky face appears from under the floorboards, and the blood goes down to her.
That's the first time we see her, isn't it?
No, actually, I think he sees her when he's in church earlier on.
Oh,
He
yeah.
sees a silhouette of the lady walking out. Malcolm gives a knowing look as well. He's like, I don't know,
Yes.
no one else saw that. But that's it. Yes, that's the first time we see her face. And as he wakes up in the morning, there's a knock on his door. Gotta go to work. I think he thought he was getting a free ride, but like, no, Jeremy turns up and is like, oi, get yourself out here.
Come on, boy, there's a lot of wood to chop and whatever.
House building and general stuff. But you notice as he gets up to get dressed, he's got that big crucifix on his back. Burnt, not just a crucifix on his back, a scar. Of a crucifix on his back. But then he goes out with Thomas, he goes out with Jeremy. Thomas goes out with Jeremy, and Jeremy is worried because he's been seen with Theon the night before by Thomas and approaches him. Thomas basically accuses him of not having any trust. And then Jeremy asks him for help to go and get some wood from a boat, which they go and get. And on the way back, Thomas shows him a picture of his sister that has been kidnapped.
Yes. And he's like, that's the woman who's chained up, isn't it?
Yeah, he was like, I saw her when she came to the island.
That's it.
She was in a box.
Yeah. Yes, she was in a box. Yes. And then there's that flashback of him and his dad opening the box. She's in the box.
Yeah. And obviously Thomas uses this to his advantage to blackmail Jeremy into helping him.
Yes.
Because he will... Sorry, he doesn't use that at all. He uses the fact that Jeremy was with Theon the night before. He basically says, if you don't help me, I'll let everyone know about you and that girl that you came out the woods with suspiciously the night before.
Yeah. Right, you were either smoking pot or you were doing something else, you know what I mean? If you're in the woods at that time of night.
Yeah, I don't even know if they could get pot on an island in Wales.
Well, probably not, because
couldn't grow it.
Their crops are growing, are they? Because of...
Yeah.
Which is what we'll get to.
Couple of quick points, though, before we move on to something I know you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's a good bit. But there's Quinn. It was a bit of a nasty bastard. We'll find out later.
Bit of a nasty... just a little side point, Quinn, played by Mark Lewis Johnson.
Yes.
He did voices in Dragon Age 2, one of the greatest games ever made, and also The Witcher 2 and 3, and he's in The Last Jedi.
All games I've not played, but one film I have seen.
The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Why have you not played The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt? Because that is...
I don't have an excuse. I'm going to go with one, though. Time.
Yes.
Don't have time.
Yep, fair enough.
But my the quick notes I wanted to say were that Quinn and Malcolm are helping a sheep give birth to a deformed, horrible, dying lamb, and they dump it in a bucket, showing to us that nothing is being fertile on this island, not the crops and not the animals.
Yeah.
And then a quick thing happens with Theon and Andrea, where Theon asks Andrea how to tell if you're pregnant.
Are we getting into that?
What the?
Because that's a very weird bit, isn't it?
Which bit?
The
Where
bit-
she's asking.
Not where she's asking, but the other bit.
Yeah, I think we should get into it after you've talked. I know you wanted to talk about the church meeting.
Yeah, because Malcolm suspects...
Oh, no, you're... Yeah, Quinn suspects that she's pregnant.
Yes.
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 Yeah, that is a weird bit. Yeah, you talk about that.
So Malcolm gets all the new visitors to the church.
I want to say I hope he suspects that she's pregnant, because
I hope so,
if not...
'cause- Should we just talk
What
about
he's
that
about to
bit
do
now?
is weird anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird anyway. But if you don't think she's pregnant, then is he doing that all the time? And he's yeah. You
Yes.
talk. You tell everyone.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we'll talk. So Quinn is staring through. What would you call it? A peephole in the toilet?
There's a hole in one of the bits of wood on the door where a knot would have been, but knots pop out every time.
So he's having a look. His daughter's in there. Very weird.
Yeah,
She's trying to check if she's pregnant.
she's got a mirror.
She's got a mirror.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know the ins and outs of what she's looking. I mean, I know what she's looking at. I don't know
We
what
know
she's looking
at.
for
Don't know what she's
specifically
looking
to say
for.
she's pregnant, and I am okay with that.
And Quinn is having a good old look. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Very weird.
And then he stands on a creaky board, so she knows someone's there, and he whacks his hand over the hole so she doesn't see it's him, and then he walks away quickly. And
Proper.
yeah, I
his
definitely
game.
hope he thought she was pregnant. I mean, still, it's weird and wrong checking like that anyway. But if not, that probably means he's checking all the time. For some reason I don't want to know about.
Well, no, Christ. Anyway.
Anyway, you wanted to talk about church meeting. The first
Yeah.
bit of gore, really.
Yes, it is, sort of, yes. So, Prophet Malcolm, has got all the newcomers lined up in the church, trying to find out who this, what are they doing? They're holding him to ransom, aren't they?
Yeah, they know.
Holding
Earlier
her to
on,
ransom.
we skipped a bit where they killed a guy who
Yes,
they
that's
had been interrogating to find out where the money was. This is the guy that Thomas switched tickets with earlier on, so they assume he had the ransom money. Obviously, he didn't know what they were talking about, so he got beat up a lot. And then they killed him, but they realised they had the wrong person. And they realised someone went out on a recce the night before. So they're lining up all the new people.
Malcolm's making them all say his weird. I don't know. Is it a prayer? Is it a chant that he's making?
It's a passage from his holy book.
Passage from the book of Malcolm.
Everyone has a book about the goddess of the island.
Yes.
Who they all worship, and they all pray to get good crops. And he wrote a book about it, which is basically their Bible.
Yeah, so there's an assassin in the ranks who shouts for king and country, I think. He goes at Malcolm with a knife, but guard's too quick, impales him on like 5 spears straight through him. Great, looked good, dead. But he did keep going, didn't he, for a little bit?
He got Thomas.
Yes, he got Thomas.
He slashed Thomas.
Yes.
And that was tense. They're reciting the lines, going down the line, getting towards Thomas. Thomas is filling his pants and thinking, I do not know what to say. Obviously he doesn't, because he's not part of the church or the cult.
Yeah, he's got away with it, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, because lucky for him, the guy just before him was an assassin.
Yeah, so that was lucky. Well
and
done.
he does get a bit of a jabbing.
But now Malcolm's taking him in. So now he's part of it now.
Yeah,
you tried to save me, you tried to help me, right? We're going to do everything we can to help you out.
And he does a bit of a blood brother move, doesn't he? Cuts himself.
Yes,
says,
he does.
If you spilt an ounce of your blood, then we do a weird thing that doesn't help anyone but hurts my hand.
Yeah.
Seems to
Why
like
do
cutting his...
they always cut that hand bit as well, which is weird.
He seems to love cutting his hand.
Michael Sheen? Or the character?
No, the character.
The character.
Played by Martin Sheen. He cuts his hand a lot. He cuts his hand to feed the goddess later on, who, by the way, drinks blood. That's why, obviously.
Yeah.
But why would you cut your palm?
Yeah, I know.
Can't do anything with your life when you cut your palm.
No, it's not going to heal either very well.
So anyway, yeah, that happened, but now Malcolm trusts him.
Right, so next bit. There's a party going on. But it's a ruse for Prophet Malcolm to search rooms to try and find this guy, who is Thomas. They bring his sister out, don't they? Drag her out, cut her hair off.
They obviously don't know his sister, and Malcolm didn't want to search his room originally either. It was Quinn that made him do it, and then it was Malcolm that found a map that Thomas had made of the village with Malcolm's house marked on it, because he's seen that Malcolm has a trapdoor down somewhere. But yeah, the party is going on, and they drag their prisoner out, who is Jennifer, isn't it? Is his sister called Jennifer?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I found it hard to find. I think it was mentioned really early on, and I didn't remember. But yeah, so he's a little bit annoyed and upset.
A little bit.
Even throws his droplets of heroin.
I don't know what it is.
He's definitely addicted to some opiate.
That thing in the green liquid. I
Yeah,
don't know what it is. Could
there's
be
a few
absinthe.
times.
Don't know.
There are a few times he drops opiate. I'm assuming it's opiates into his
Might be
mouth.
just rescue remedy. I don't know.
So he's an addict.
Well, yeah, maybe. We don't know what it is. Could be appetizer.
Yeah, man, yeah. You gotta love the appetizer, but you're only in drops.
Yeah. Well, it's fizzy, isn't it? They don't know what hit them. 1905.
Yeah, man, this fizzy stuff must be magic. Take little bits. Anyway, so Malcolm, he sees his house is marked, while Thomas is currently breaking in with the help of Jeremy through a brick wall.
That's... where are we?
We are a bit where Frank, Jeremy's dad, finds him helping Thomas when Thomas is already in the house, and he sends Jeremy away quickly so he doesn't get caught and, bollocked by everyone else, really.
Well, yeah, so is that where Jeremy then... No, not Jeremy. Thomas. Is he down under the barn?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that horrible bit of blood.
He's going through... No, he goes through, doesn't he, the tunnel?
Yes.
And then Malcolm's waiting at the end.
Yes.
He's ridden off on his horse to beat him there, knowing there's a hatch that comes out near a barn where they keep this goddess
Yes.
of the island.
Yeah.
And Thomas realises just in time that there's someone waiting there because the horse makes a noise.
Okay. Yeah.
So he drops down into what I think he thinks is some sort of underwater river. I don't know what he thinks it is. It's not what he thinks it is, because no one would think that it was this.
No.
It looked to me like blood. And
it was blood and guts, wasn't it? It was blood and guts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then the old woman pops up, she is the goddess of the island, isn't she?
Yeah.
She pops up, bit creepy.
Chases him.
Yeah.
Through what is, I presume, is like the cardiovascular system of the island, full of blood under there.
Yes, quite a good way to look at it. Yeah.
And then he escapes at the end into a little cave, and she's gone.
Yes, he sees the cave paintings on the walls.
That's one of the scary moments, though. The chase through the blood river.
Yeah, when she pops up, that's quite.
Yeah, there's not much room for manoeuvre.
Jump there, isn't it? Yeah, so he's in the cave. He sees the cave paintings. People have been on this island before, I think. That's my take from it.
Yeah, there's a lot of imagery in this film of circles and loops, and I think it's my opinion that maybe it's an ongoing cycle.
Oh yeah,
of people coming and sacrificing things for her, this goddess of the island, and then moving on or dying or leaving, and someone else is brought there, and he is the prophet at the time, Malcolm.
Yes.
So I don't think he's going to be there. I don't think he's that important, really, in the grand scheme of the circle.
Yeah, I like that.
Malcolm does approach the goddess, annoyed that she has... And this is the first time we see her properly, because I think she's always kept captive. She's a prisoner.
Yes.
And she's shown herself to Thomas through visions, somehow.
Yeah, there's two parts to her, isn't there? There's the one that's walking around that he sees... And then there's the one that's trapped in the barn, covered in twigs.
Yeah, and there's the one that doesn't want to drink blood and pulls away.
Yeah.
But then when it's actually in her mouth, she loves that stuff.
She loves it.
She's going for
Absolutely loves it.
And that's when Malcolm cuts his hand, again. It's like, why you cut it like yesterday? You don't need to cut it again. just take the plaster off.
Yeah.
He just loves cutting his hand. And he's not too happy. That's the first time we see the, do you know who I'm going to talk about? The crazy man.
The Grinder. It's called The Grinder.
Is he called The Grinder?
Yeah, he's called The Grinder.
Where did you get that from?
The internet.
Okay. I did not know. And I was like,
because he's got a grinder, hasn't
helper in mind. I just did air quotes.
He's got a wicker mask on.
Yep.
Weird. We don't know who he is. We don't find out who he is either, do we?
No, he likes the goddess.
But he has a grinder, and he is called the Grinder.
Yeah, that grinder's probably one of my nightmares for the rest of my life now.
Well, yeah.
It's not a good way to go, and we'll get to it in a bit. So, while Thomas is in this cave, Andrea walks in. Somehow knows he's there. I don't know. It's one of those plot things I'm just going to have to go with.
Yeah.
She walks into the cave and they talk about religion. And this is where he does his flashback, which is not a flashback in the film. Obviously, there's a flashback for us. He just describes it to her, I'm guessing. But we get it in the form of a flashback.
This is the flashback to the Boxer Rebellion, isn't it?
Yes.
So he's a Christian missionary being persecuted by the locals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't want you here, mate.
On our patch.
Yeah.
You're doing, who's this god you're talking about?
Yeah, not bothered, mate.
But this is it's a really good scene, some really good imagery going on again. Because he is trying desperately to pray, but they keep pulling his arms apart, the shape of Jesus being crucified. And there's a cross burning in front of him. And he's begging God for divine intervention to help him out. Do us a favour, mate. I've worshipped you for quite a while now. I think it's about a bit of a,
Yeah, I'm your man on the ground.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm doing all the legwork here. What are you doing?
Need a bit of support.
Yeah, help me out a bit.
And then they come at him.
They come out with a burning... they come home with a burning cross right on the back as well.
Yeah, shirt up, no time wasted.
No.
Bit of a scream.
Bosh.
And a nice little touch from director Gareth Evans. Didn't just check my notes for that at all. The crucifix that is burning in front of him falls at the same time he loses his faith in Jesus.
Very good. I did not notice that.
He gets burnt on the back, and he's like, "Well, you then."
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that.
That's not spreading your word anymore.
Right, how do you pronounce her name then? Fion.
Fionn.
Fion.
I think.
Why is it spelled with 2 F's?
Because she gets twice in this film.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's spelled with 2 F's. But yeah, it is spelled with 2 F's.
Right, so this bit, she's in the house with Jeremy. She's pregnant now, isn't she?
Yeah.
So the dad's not. Quinn ain't happy about that.
No, I mean, Fionn tells Jeremy, and he goes off to go, "I'm going to got a present for you," and goes.
Quinn comes in. Oi, are you pregnant? You can't be pregnant. But I didn't realise. I thought he was just annoyed that Jeremy got her pregnant. But it's basically because nothing grows on the island, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he's. It's 1905, and people weren't quite as progressive as we are. So I think he was annoyed.
Yeah.
About the premarital sex, but more annoyed that he knows nothing ever gestates properly on this island.
And, as he put it, mongoloid. So he kills her, and then blames it on Jeremy.
Yes.
Shit day for him, innit?
Yeah, because he knows the mothers die as well. And,
do they? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. Right. I still get her off the island, see if she's all right up there, give her a chance. But no, he's a bit of a hot-headed.
I think it's just his excuse. He wants to take over, doesn't he? He wants to run the town.
Yes, he does. Yeah. But yeah, Jeremy walks in.
Oi.
Yeah, and they have a bit of a fight.
They have a bit of a tussle. Yeah, they have a bit of a tussle. Jeremy gets some blows in with his knife, but then Quinn blames it on him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he runs out the house shouting murderer. And Quinn is a respected member of the community. He's one of the original 3 people to get to the island. He helped establish the community. His word means a lot. And you can see that in Jeremy's face as he decides to scarp her instead of say, "No, I wasn't a murderer, it was him." Yeah. And have a trial like normal people would. But although, to be fair, I can't say I wouldn't run either.
No, I think I'd scarp her.
Yeah, he legs it
Yeah.
into the arms of Andrea, who has taken Thomas to a crop field that is all toxic and dying. Basically he gets caught up with it, doesn't he? And he gets...
Yeah, they catch up with him, drag him back. This is a good bit.
I was going to say, you want to take the gore?
Yeah, I like this bit. Sound the alarm, Quinn says. Like, that's clearly that guy's job as well, just to stand on top of that tower.
He's just stood there all day.
Yeah.
Ringing, like, his job is to ring the bell, Malcolm just to cut his hand and talk shit.
Yeah. So, they bring the heathen stand out. This is the torture device. Well, I don't know if it's a torture device, actually. It's just a murder weapon, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a roundabout sick way of carrying out capital punishment.
Basically, yeah. It's a table. You get strapped to it. They crush your skull with a winch, and then there's a massive drill behind your head.
Yeah, and you crush your skull to the point where you're alive, but it hurts a lot.
Yes, and then it just keeps digging right into your head.
Yeah, it does. The drill from the top into the top of the head. But as a little bonus at the end, you do get a nice petal.
You get a petal in your head, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the purifying, the petal. And
so,
something I noticed, which I'm quite proud of.
Right.
Because I noticed it. It was on the film, so I should have noticed it. But in the beginning of the film, when Thomas is in the carriage reading the letter from his sister, he has in his hand the exact same type of petal that signifies the purity. So it's a little bit of foreshadowing there again. That word I googled.
Come in handy, that word. Isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'm going to Google some more for next time.
Well, I tried to find out if the heathen stand was actually a real thing, but it wasn't.
Ooh, wow. I was ready for some weird, morbid excitement then.
It's not a real thing, which is a shame. I think it was just made up. But I've got a couple. I've got 3 interesting ones here.
All
that
right.
might be quite good.
All right, lay them on me. Not literally.
Wow. Have you ever heard of the Judas cradle?
No.
So it's kind of like being impaled, right? But you sit on a pyramid-shaped cradle, and then you're forced down on it by ropes.
Uh-huh.
It goes in your orifice, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Over a very long period of time. You've got to be naked when it happens. And
Yeah, well.
that's to add to the humiliation.
You say your genes are probably going to save you.
So yeah, you basically just get stretched over this big triangle thing.
That's pretty horrific.
If it doesn't
I see
kill
in your
you-
eyes you might be saving the best till last.
Well, I've got 3 here. Oh no, let's go with a Spanish donkey. You heard of that?
No, but it sounds way more fun than I think it's going
So,
to be.
from the Spanish Inquisition, this is probably one of the most gruesome of them all. The victim is put astride naked on a donkey-like apparatus, which is actually a vertical wooden board with a shape V wedge on top. After that, the torture would add varying weights to the victim's feet until finally the wedge sliced through the victim's body. Also through that orifice again.
Yeah, they're a little bit obsessed with them. Why don't they just,
Straight
if
for
this
the
is
bum.
just to kill people? Yeah?
I think it's part humiliation, part killing them, innit?
Well, I mean, I'm usually humiliated when I just mess up my words on the beginning intro of a podcast.
Well, yeah, but at least we're not sat on the old Judas cradle.
Nope.
So, there you go. Yeah, I'm done with that.
I was waiting for another one. I was
I think I'll just leave it on the 2 that go up the butt.
Yeah, well. Why change the habit of a lifetime?
Yeah.
So, there is a purification, is what it's called, purification, where they drill a hole in his head, put the flour in, because, that makes everything better. And Quinn makes it obvious he's trying to take over the community. Frank comes back and is like, "Oi, boy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's my son."
Oh, yeah, he was not happy.
Frank is Jeremy's dad.
Yeah.
He's pissed off. There is commotion as Quinn tries to challenge Malcolm for leadership of the community, and Thomas does a lovely little swift drop to the ground and spear through the face of the guy.
That is
holding him.
great. Yeah, that is a good part of that.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
right
Good
through
aim.
the cheek.
They did not do that in Downton Abbey. He didn't get it from there.
Yeah.
But no, that was good.
Spike through the face.
Yeah. And Thomas legs it off to the shack that he saw earlier.
Yeah, but what let that part down was the fact that he kicked the gate open and didn't hop over it nicely.
Yeah.
That he went,
Yeah, I know what
kicked
you
it
mean.
open. That
Yeah.
slowed him down. He could have just jumped over it, and he would have been out of there.
Yeah, they can't all train in the Hot Fuzz camp.
That's true.
But yeah, I get what you mean. Would have been more impressive and quicker. But he runs off. He gets to the shack. And Frank, who ran off there first with a gun to kill the goddess to end it all, because his son's just died, and he was trying to escape originally anyway. He was planning to take Jeremy and leave the island. So
Yeah, they had a boat ready, didn't they?
yeah, he did. Yeah. But the what was it called? The grinder.
The grinder.
The grinder.
Grinder.
Man, the grinder means a different thing these days. If you're going out to some clubs,
Yeah.
ask for the grinder. Don't do it. Or do it, whatever you want. But Quinn is chasing down as well. But Frank has gone to kill the goddess, and he gets killed by the grinder. Unfortunately, he gets shot. Walks out, sees Thomas, and he says, "Burn it all to the ground." So Thomas, a bit worried about being seen by the grinder, scarpers off around the corner, dips down into a bit of a
Well, he finds that
basement
hole,
slot.
doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know how he found that hole, because it's covered in fern.
I think he read it in the script.
I mean, he probably did read the
Yeah,
script,
I
but
mean-
he shimmied down
don't
there
know.
sharpish.
Yeah, he did. It's like he knew it was there.
Yeah. It's weird, that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I hadn't thought about that. But he does find his sister.
In a bag, hanging up.
Yeah. but not before he sees her. Her, I say, is in the goddess, because they keep calling her her. She doesn't seem to have a name.
No, I think she is just called her. She is just called her.
Okay.
Played by Sharon Morgan.
Well, I think that was a fun call from the agent. Got a part for you.
Yeah.
Is it glamorous? Sure.
So you're playing her? Her? Yeah.
Yeah.
A twig woman.
Who's that? Cat's mother? Anyway, he sees the grinder feeding
Grinder.
her guts of rabbits just to sustain her, because
Yeah, she's
I mean,
not having
we've
a
got
fun
quite
time.
far into the podcast without mentioning that feeding her
I know, right?
feeding her helps the crops grow.
Yes. She
And,
is.
and the assumption you've already seen this, it doesn't matter, we haven't mentioned it.
Yeah.
But still, I'm a bit embarrassed.
Well,
Humiliated,
We're
not
just-
like a Spanish donkey humiliated, but still.
get that Judas cradle out, whatever it's called.
Jimmy's strict.
So she's
Connected.
to the island. She's the deity of the island. She needs to be. I don't know if she needs to be fed blood, does she? They just feed it.
Yeah,
And it's not.
well, Quinn
working.
mentions later on that they imprisoned her. It was his idea to imprison her and force feed her to have good food, but
Yes.
good crops. Sorry, but the more they fed her different blood, the less it worked.
Yeah.
And Quinn's idea, why he wants to take over, is he knows it takes human sacrifice to really
Yes.
get things going to the point where they can sustain themselves as a community. Me personally, I would have gone to another island, started another community.
I mean, is it easy to do that? To go to another island? To go to an island, even, and start a community?
They
They've done
actually
it very easy.
crash-landed on the island, didn't they?
Yeah, they're running
On
away.
a ship called the Exodus, I think,
Yes,
which is
it was
another religious...
Exodus, yes. I think they were running away because of their beliefs, aren't they? They're being hunted.
Yeah, they're
by
being
the king.
driven out by
Yeah.
king and country.
Yeah.
Where are we, anyway? Oh, yeah, he finds Jennifer.
Jennifer's in a bag.
Yeah. Grinder comes and knocks him on the bonds. Doesn't he?
Knocks him on a bonce. Yeah, he does, yeah. Quinn spots it, but he gets in his cart and then he's off.
Yeah, because he takes Jennifer.
Yes.
He takes Jennifer.
Yes.
And then there's a fight. And this is another bit of gore scene, so I'm going to let you... You seem to like the gore bits.
Well,
I don't
quite
blame
like
you.
this bit,
You're good at them.
quite like this bit. I could even tell you what time it happens if you want to skip to that part of the episode. It's 1 hour and 52 minutes.
Yep. And it's a fight between Thomas and the Grinder.
Yes, so Tom is hooked up by his arms and his legs with some hooks on wire, and the Grinder is slowly cranking him up and pulling him onto to this table, and at the end of it, it's basically a meat grinder, isn't it? That's why they call him the Grinder.
It is, and it looks sticky
Looks
and
horrible.
wet.
Well, yeah, he's not washed it. There's no...
Oh, it's not. No, it's not really
he's not
hygienic.
he's not making pork mince out of it or anything. So he keeps on cranking him, and he gets his hand caught in it, doesn't he? That's it. His hand's gone.
Yeah, half his fingers or
half
something.
his
isn't it?
fingers
He's
are
got
all
an
gone.
index and a thumb left.
Yeah, but he manages to wiggle out, hooks the Grinder in the side of the face with one of them, starts cranking the old Grinder up again with his good hand.
Yep.
But then he just scarpers, I think, in the end. Doesn't actually get to kill the Grinder, does he? He's still there. He's still lying on the
Is
thing.
he?
He don't go through the teeth. I think he passes out. Yeah, I think he just
I know
passes out.
he. Yeah, he's gonna grind the Grinder,
Yeah, he's trying to grind the Grinder.
and then the Grinder grabs him,
yeah.
and then he knocks a lever, and something happens, and is the Grinder knocked out?
Yes,
Or
he
killed?
is. Yeah, he is.
Okay. I don't know why I can't remember that. I watched that bit last night.
This is where we get back to Quinn now. He's got Jennifer and Andrea, hasn't he?
Yeah, with a
Andrea's
nice little
mug.
plan for himself.
Huh?
With a nice little plan for himself for the future of the island.
Yeah, he's done all right. So he's got Jennifer and Andrea imprisoned.
And he tells them, basically, you're here so I can have sex with you.
Yeah.
You can have babies, born mangled and dead. And then I can feed them as my human sacrifice to the goddess. And all will be well with the world, apart from the horrible imprisonment, rape, and abuse of two women. He's not a well man. I think is what I'm going to say at this point. He's obviously lost it.
Yeah, he's got a bit crackers, isn't he? He's got a bit mental. I mean, he's lost a lot of blood, hasn't he? Cause
he got a bit of a neck cut from Jeremy.
He's got a bit of a neck cut from Jeremy. He's been stabbed a couple of times, I think, by Jeremy as well. He's lost a lot of blood.
Yeah.
I'm not on his side.
Well, I think he probably had this plan before. But, I mean, he says to Jeremy just before Jeremy dies, I wanted this.
Yes, he does. He whispers it to him. Yeah.
So we know that it's actually been since he found out that Fionn was pregnant, I think it's been in his mind, I can use this to gain control of the community, get rid of her, blame it on Jeremy, get rid of Jeremy, piss off Frank will flip. And I think this whole keeping some women captive to just basically keep giving him mangled children to feed to a goddess was part of his plan. So he's not the pillar of the community that he makes himself out to be.
No.
And then I think we go to Thomas, who was just walking away from the grinder, who was either dead or knocked out. We can't remember.
I think he's dead. Let's say he's dead.
All right.
I'm sure he's dead.
And he has this weird moment with the goddess.
Weird moment. Yes, he does, yeah.
And she puts her hands on his head.
It's a flashback, isn't it?
Yeah, it shows him a flashback of her being imprisoned and Frank and Quinn and Malcolm, finding her on the island. And then Thomas burns her to death.
Yeah.
But they bonded a little
bit.
Because she touched his head.
She's touching his head.
He had a weird eye thing going on, which in films always means we're bonding somehow.
Yes, I am passing my spirit or essence onto you.
Yeah.
You are now my son. You are now the keeper of this island.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't really want it, so I'm going to burn you.
It's worse than a pair of socks at Christmas, that gift, isn't it, really?
It is. I just couldn't be doing with it because it's a gift that keeps on giving, innit? Like, I don't want it. I'm going to have to keep doing things.
Yeah.
So if someone gives you a
does
pet...
that mean he's going to be the one who has to be fed blood?
Yeah.
Anyway, he sets her on fire either way.
Boom.
To be honest, you give me that as a gift, I'm setting you on fire as well. And so Thomas turns up just as Quinn's leaving the room. He's got Andrea and Jennifer in and stabs him as he walks in. And then there is a fight between the two women, Thomas and Quinn.
Yeah, he stabs him right in the chest, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember which one it was. It's either Jennifer or Andrea grab him around the neck with a bit of cord or something. Pull him by the neck. Thomas is holding on to it, slits him in half. Beautiful.
Yeah, it proper draws him down from chest to crotch, right down the middle.
Must be a couple of strong girls there to do that.
Quinn was a big man.
He was a big man.
But he had also lost a lot of blood.
Yeah,
and just been stabbed in the chest. He was, it was his own fault. He wasn't having the best day.
Nah. I mean, he got to wear those nice robes.
Yeah, for
sound the alarm.
Yep. And that guy was like, finally, something to do. I've been stand up here 24 hours a day for this alarm, and I have to use it once every 6 months. He'd had a good week because some new guys turned up. He got to ring the bell for the newcomers and for the purification. That was a banging week for him. His diary is full of decent stories that week. So they all, it's the end of the film, really. They all run
Tom's
off.
not in a good state, is he? He's
no.
a bit
Oh yeah, Quinn got some shots in.
Yeah.
He got stabbed through the side 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And they're all running as the whole place is burning. It's on fire. Somehow it spread to the whole village.
Well, it spread to the whole village because she's on fire. She's part of the island.
Yeah.
So she's burning it all down. I think.
And put it down to the supernatural. I think during a horror podcast,
we
may have to look past some things that might not quite be realistic.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's what they were getting at. With
Yeah. I'll keep myself in check for that. The notes. Unrealistic. What is this documentary? And why is it called The Exorcist? Anyway. Oh, I've missed a bit that peed me off.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, let's hear it.
Malcolm turns up to challenge Quinn outside the shack. And Quinn decides to use a shotgun to try and hit the grinder and misses, and then Malcolm goes, "Oh, lay off.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop going a bit mental."
Yeah, leave him alone.
So Quinn turns around and decides to shoot Malcolm. And this is another thing in horror films. I understand there are tropes. Things happen. People run up staircases when they should be running out front doors.
Ridiculous. Let's not even get started on that.
People are not checking the back of the car when the killer's quite obviously in the back.
Yeah.
But this one, it's not even the trope that annoys me, it's that it was done badly. So, Quinn's 6 or 7 foot away from Malcolm with a shotgun loaded, aimed at him, and he blows him away.
I'm glad you said away at the end of that.
That's
Could have been a
different
film.
podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome to the porn house. There's a camera shot to show, oh look, he didn't get shot badly, it was just in the shoulder. And then Malcolm falls down a hole. And usually you're like, and that person I'm trying to kill, I might make sure he's dead. But no, Quinn just has a glance down the hole and goes, he's on the floor, that'll do.
Yeah.
And walks away. And that's annoying for it itself, but it's annoying because I know Malcolm's coming back. And he does. I'll get back to that in a minute. But I wanted to point out that before the ending, because if someone is fake killed in a horror film and comes back, I want payoff.
Yeah.
The trope is there, but it's fine. Just make it pay off. Anyway, we'll move on, and we'll, because it's near the end anyway.
Well, we're at that bit now, aren't we?
Are we?
Yeah, Jennifer and Andrea, they flee to the boat. Thomas can't go, he's hobbling behind.
Yeah, he's
and
struggling.
This is the bit that...
Blood loss.
Yeah.
Alright, so everyone gets to the boat. They get on the boat and start to leave, and a cliff face blows up and blood and fire come out.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch. I want to get that in there.
Yeah.
And as the goddess is obviously dead, and since she has died, and Thomas is about to die, Malcolm turns up, and this is the payoff for the badly done trope. Is Thomas bleeds a little bit on the floor, and a seedling grows, signifying he is now the keeper of the island, essentially.
Yeah.
Malcolm has returned from the air quotes dead to smile at him and nod, as in, look at that. You just grew a seedling with blood.
Yeah.
And then Thomas lays down, dies.
Well, he gets consumed, doesn't he, by the vegetation that's growing around him. So he is now becoming the island, like her.
Yeah, it's him now.
It's him now, yeah.
Cat's father.
So I'm assuming that Malcolm is just going to stay there and
serve him now.
Carry on doing what he was doing. Maybe start another community.
Still not enough of a payoff for me.
Not really. It wasn't the greatest ending.
But, it was alright as an ending. I meant the Malcolm being...
would you rather him be dead? Malcolm?
I would either rather him be dead, or I would have rather... The fight scene where Quinn was killed, I would rather him turn up... Like, if you're going to... It's a horror film. You can let your imagination go crazy. Don't shoot him in the shoulder. Shoot him in the stomach. And then have him return with stuff spilling out his stomach, holding it in a massive supernatural rage to kill the person who is responsible for it all.
Yeah.
But no, he just nodded and I was like, oh yeah, bit of blood there.
Well, there you go.
That was the Apostle.
That was Apostle.
Anything particularly you want to talk about in terms of, I mean, that was plot that we ran down.
Yeah, basically, wasn't it? Yeah.
We chucked some stuff in there.
Yeah.
Talked about our feelings about it. You got anything else you want to mention? Do any of it?
No, I don't think so. It was an alright film.
It was alright, yeah.
Like I said, it was too long. They could have cut it down to an hour and a half.
Yeah, it would have been a better film, more condensed.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you what they could have cut, because I'm not a filmmaker, I'm just a fan. It's not my job.
That's true, yeah. You don't get paid for that.
I have a couple of bits I would like to jam in at the end. There is obviously some brilliant cinematic shots throughout the film, including the first shot of a lake where he's on his way to see his sister. That straight away says to me it's a well-made film, and it was a well-made film.
Well, it was all filmed in Neath Port Talbot in Wales.
All right, okay.
So,
well, there's a nice lake there then, everyone. You could go and visit.
Margam Park, I think it's called. Probably pronounced that wrong, but...
You've done more research than me.
Well...
Or different research to me.
Just different.
I did a bit of Googling myself here, Jimmy.
Okay.
The place is called Erisden.
Yes. I thought it was a Resden.
Erisden. Well, it's spelt the same either way, right?
Right, okay.
Because it's an anagram of deniers.
Is it really?
It is.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Obviously, it's called Apostle.
Yep.
And Thomas is the Jesus-like character. He also, on the trip there's a lamb that falls into the ship, yeah?
Yeah. Well, when me and Nat watched it for the first time,
Yeah.
she thought it was a duck.
All right. Nat is the lead singer of Pet Stone Horrors, by the way, everyone. And Jimmy's lady friend.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put that on the podcast. Anyway, the lamb was what it was.
Not a duck. Clearly not a duck.
No, because it said
Or
bear,
actually,
not quack.
I'll tell you exactly her words. When it fell out of the back, she went, "Oh, a duck."
Okay.
And I thought the only thing.
Oh, damn, a lamb.
And I thought the only thing that I'm going to write down about researching this film was that.
Jesus holding a lamb is an image used a lot in Christianity. But now I am actually done. That's it now. I have nothing else.
Wow, there you go.
Yep. This has gone on longer than I thought, and we're not done.
Right, what's the last bit then?
The next section is called Master of the Macabre.
Who are you thinking?
Shall I say what it is first?
Yeah, maybe.
Master of the
might
Macabre
be good help.
is who's putting the best performance in this film, who we think deserves the honour of the Madhouse Podcast Master of the Macabre for Apostle. I'm going with Dan Stevens, the lead.
Okay. I was going with Michael Sheen.
Yeah, I knew a second in mine. I thought you were going to say Michael Sheen. I don't know.
I like Sheen though. I think he's a good actor. I think it's one of his. He doesn't do horror films. I think it was one of his first horror films he's done.
Yeah, it was for Dan Stevens as well. But then I guess Michael Sheen. I don't know. Because I was about to say Michael Sheen's character is deep. He really wants to do the right thing, and it hurts him doing the wrong thing, but he does do the wrong thing a lot to get what he wants.
Yeah.
But then there's that conflict of character in Thomas as well, because Thomas wants to do the right thing despite he's lost his faith. He's going there to save his sister.
Yeah.
And he was a lost cause at the beginning of the film. He's got long hair, his beard, he's obviously an addict.
Yes. Still don't know what that green stuff was.
He gets redemption. I think it was heroin or some opiate like that. I don't know enough about drugs in drugs at all. Not just 1905.
Excuse me. Right, let's give it to Dan Stevens then, I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
He had his hand mangled. He went to get his sister. She escaped. He's now part of the island.
He scared me as well in his character.
He scared you?
Yeah, not in a horror film scary way, but he's dark. See it in his eyes. He's ready to do it. Michael Sheen's kind of pussyfooting around doing what needs to
Great
be done.
beard though.
Oh yeah, damn good beard. Shit haircut. But made up for it with the beard.
There you go.
Dan Stevens didn't have a beard. Next we have our rating system, the Madhouse Podcast's own rating system. It's 5-star rating system, and we have 5 points that we think every horror film should get right. And they are tension and suspense, gore, visual effects, cinematography, performance, and the film score / sound effects. And the way it's going to be done is you don't get the gore star for just having a load of gore. You get the gore star for doing the gore right for the film you're trying to make. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because
then this it's got some gore, but compared to some zombie films,
yeah,
it's not going to score well. So, let's just go down each one and decide if we think it deserves a star. So, tension and suspense.
I think that's got to give it a star for that. I think.
I've got it down as definitely having a star.
It's a slow. It builds the tension through the first hour, doesn't it?
Yeah, and also the scenes that are tense, they build up really well.
Yeah.
So the night scene where he sneaks out to have his recce we talked about.
Yeah.
That builds up really well. With the score.
Yeah.
The church meeting where they were reciting the Holy Book and it was getting towards him and we didn't know that someone else was going to jump in and save him.
Yep.
And I've got written down here the Island Vein Chase, which is just the Ruther of Blood.
Yes.
Okay. So it's got 1. Gore and visual effects.
I think they were very good.
I thought there was just the right amount for this film. This is not a torture porn film.
No, it isn't. No.
The purification is the worst,
Yes.
with a hole in the head.
Big hole in the head.
But if it was torture porn, they would have shown it.
That's true.
They didn't show the actual drilling in.
No.
They showed it from an angle where you couldn't see, and then
Yeah.
you saw the after effect.
Yeah.
So I think that was done really well for the film.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have cheapened it to just go for that cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't that type of film, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cinematography.
Beautifully shot, I think.
Yeah.
Very nice. Not a cameraman.
No, yeah, I liked the camera work. It was great.
Yeah.
Decent shots, decent scenery shots,
Yeah.
and tracking shots. Performance, I don't think there was a bad person in this film.
They all did very well, yeah.
Dan Stevens, dark character, but ultimately trying to be good. Michael Sheen, trying to be good, struggling with being a bad guy. Because he was in the end.
Yeah.
He's kidnapped someone, and as much as I like the character,
Yeah.
he's a bit of an arse, really,
Little bit, yeah.
in his actions.
Yeah.
So Dan Stevens, I guess, actually conflicting. Dan Stevens he talked the talk as someone who was a bad guy. You don't want to like me. I've been through some stuff, but then his actions redeemed him.
Yeah.
Michael Sheen was the other way around. Kept saying, "I'm holy and amazing," but the things he actually did were not.
Yeah.
I loved the film's score and the sound effects, which actually went hand in hand.
Yeah, same, yeah. Very good.
There's a machine, I think it's called the horror machine, and I'm pretty sure they use that for the sound effects. I
Okay.
can't remember what it's actually called. I have to bring that up some other time.
Yeah.
But according to that, that's 5 stars out of 5. But we have the ability at the end to take stars off
Okay.
for points. If we come up with a point that we think is detrimental to the film, you
Yeah.
can lose a star. And for
Right.
me, that is the length of the film.
Yes, too long.
Yeah.
Definitely too long. I'd take 1 off for that.
Yeah. So is there anything else you would think of, or do we have a 4 out of 5 film? In
No.
my head, it's a 3.5 out of 5.
I'd give it 3.5.
But I can't take the other half point from anywhere. I mean, it was pretty much a rip-off of Wicker Man, if we want to take half a point off. Do you think?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So are we giving it 3.5?
Let's give it
I think
3.5.
as hosts we have the ability
Yeah.
to decide an actual score.
Yeah.
So 3.5 for our first ever film. So this next part is the reveal of the next episode, what film we're going to be doing on the Madhouse Podcast. Jimmy chose this one, Apostle. Thanks for that. Very long.
It was very long, very grueling. We got there.
I had watched this film before I chose my next one, so I'm not going to say light-hearted because it's a horror film, but I chose one that it's shorter. It's got an 87-minute runtime, and you do not know what this is,
No.
right?
No.
So I'm going to do a little thing, and I'm going to read out the IMDb description of the film and see if you can tell what I've chosen.
Right, okay, let's go.
A single mother gives her son a much sought-after doll for his birthday, only to discover that it is possessed by the soul of a serial killer.
But it's child's play, isn't it?
It is Child's
Yeah.
Play. Yeah, well done.
Yes!
Child's Play.
Yes,
It's going to
I'm
be our
excited.
next episode.
Yes.
I don't know if I've seen this one. I've definitely seen some films with Chucky in it.
Well, I'm excited.
I will know within the first 5 minutes. But yeah, shorter film. What's that? Less than an hour and 40
Oh, it's hour 27, isn't it?
runtime.
Yeah, hour 27. I'm excited. I'm
Yes,
I'm
it
ready
is. Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah. Of course it is.
Child's
Yeah.
Play, great series. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, and no doubt after that we'll go on to the next Child's Play 2 one day. And I think there's about 7 of them now. Actually, you know what? I looked at this to see if it would be a good choice. I liked it. But when I googled Child's Play to get a bit of information about it, it came up Child's Play 2019. So maybe there's another one coming. Anyway, I think that's it. The next segment in the future will be listener mail. we have no time for that now anyway, even if we did have any. But if you want to get in touch with us, email us at the madhousepodcast@outlook.com for now. That will change in the future, but it won't matter which email you message. And I think that's it for the day.
Excellent. Nice one.
That's been brilliant. Thank you for joining us on the
Thank
Madhouse
you.
Podcast. Don't forget to join us on Facebook search for the Madhouse Podcast on Instagram. Check us out at the Madhouse Podcast, and don't forget to email us with any film recommendations, anything you want to let us know. Just tell us to do a shorter episode, because this is insane. At the Madhouse Podcast at outlook.com. We'll see you next time on the Madhouse.
See ya!
See ya.